My second oldest brother was born in the early 1980s, and he spent most of his childhood growing up on the West Coast and in Alaska. He went to homeschooling for 10 years, and his junior and senior year, he finally convinced our parents to send him to high school, which was less than a mile from our house. And my mother did not want him to go to public high school. Being the fundamentalist parents that they were, she wanted him to have more of a Christian homeschooling experience, but he wanted to socialize and be around kids his own age. So he finally got his wish, and it was around 2000 when he finally got to go to school. All I remember, and I was around the age of 4 or 5, I remember there being a lot of tension with him going to public high school, and that he was dating and having girlfriends. I remember him going to prom, and just the interaction between my parents and my brother was there was a lot of tension, and my parents did not go out of their way to make his teenage years easy, and he kind of returned the favor. I guess he thought that rebelling and being as different as possible was the only way he could have autonomy in our house. I remember him being pushed out of the house by our parents around 2000 to 2001. And he decided he wanted to go to school and left the state when he was anywhere from 18 to 19 years of age. There was always a lot of tension between my mother and my brothers. And in the early 2000s, this kind of continued. Every summer or every few Christmases, my brothers would come up to visit, usually in Alaska. And while they were in their 20s going to school, they would come up and visit. And I remember really the only time I ever got to be around secular experiences was when my brothers would come up to visit. And my brother liked to come in the summertime, but occasionally he would come around Christmas. And he would play video games and watch secular movies, and that's how I kind of experienced secular movies. I remember he really did enjoy watching Star Wars, especially the prequels, which looking back was kind of funny. And I remember my mother always trying to get me out of the room so I wouldn't see what he was doing. And the few times I was able to, come up behind him and just see what he was doing, I remember not having much time alone with him. My mother always wanted to separate me from my other siblings, and she was extremely